Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the RetroTink. Let's get started. If you're wondering what the RetroTink is, in a nutshell, in a very basic form, it takes the video signal from your retro gaming system, for example, an SNES, which you plug in here via either S-Video or component or composite. And it takes that video and sends it out via HDMI. Now, opening this up, it's really nothing fancy. I wouldn't say it really looks the greatest. It's primarily function over form. It's very reminiscent of even a Raspberry Pi. When you purchase that, everything's exposed. So I purchased this right off RetroTink's website. It does come with this plexiglass case. You can see the micro USB power as well as the mini HDMI out. You can see two buttons here on the side. One of them controls the input smoothing. The other one controls the input type. Now, the only output to this is the mini HDMI. So if you are looking to convert it to other signals, this probably isn't the best bet, but you can see the inputs here, including S-Video, which is awesome. One thing I will take note of right away is I would say this isn't the most durable product right off the shelf. So be very careful when you're plugging things in. I noticed it might be very easy, especially with some of the older cables, if you're ramming them in, to damage the board. So be very, very careful. So hooked up, this thing is running pretty straightforward. There wasn't any real setup to do. I just plugged it in and I was good to go. So right now I'm running Super Mario World. And this is live via the RetroTink, via the HDMI cable into the Elgato. So everything is running really well. You can see how clear it is. So there are two setting options. There's actually three. So there's input smoothing. First and foremost, there's one setting that just sends the video through HDMI. It does it at, I think, 240p, and not a lot of monitors can support it. I don't think the Elgato can either. So when I do switch it over, I'll switch it over and we'll get a black screen here. So I'm just going to switch it, and this is passing the raw video through the RetroTink, and you can see it's just the black screen. Now if I click it once, this is upscaled to 480p, and then if I hit it again, this is with the smoothing on. So you can see the text is a little harder to read, but everything else does appear smoother. So the graphics, everything like that, look a little nicer. You can get this effect with a lot of retro emulators out there. So I forgot to mention that video was with a composite cable. That is the yellow, red, and white cable that comes standard in the SNES box. I've now plugged in an S-Video cable, and man, oh man, this picture is a lot better. So the picture was good before, but in my opinion, this picture is even better now with the S-Video cable. So this, again, is not necessarily a standard cable that comes in the SNES. However, you can find them online fairly easily. Now, I've been told the component cables are even better through the RetroTink. However, unfortunately, I do not have component cables to try this out. So I just have the S-Video cable as well as the composite cable. But I'm pretty happy. The composite, the video quality was great. The S-Video is, in my opinion, amazing. So I'm really happy with this. I don't know if I will pick up component cables at this time. So this footage you're seeing right now, and I do apologize if you hear any noise in the background, it's the fans from the CPS2 system. This is captured right now through a SCART to HDMI converter. So this is more or less no upscaling. I would say fairly poor quality to capture. You can see everything is a little blurred, a little stretched. However, this is through just a very, very basic and cheap SCART to HDMI converter. So this is now the same game, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, plugged in via the RetroTink with an S-Video cable. So I do have S-Video plugged in for this. And you can notice something right off the bat. The colors are off. So the font is extremely clear everything looks very, very nice, but the colors are messed up. And there are choices here for input selection, and unfortunately I don't get what I'm looking for. So if I flip this over, you can see black and white. And if I flip it over again, I get color to an extent. It's kind of got a blue wash to it. And there's a lot of noise in this picture. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I don't know if this is with my supergun, an issue with that, an issue with the RetroTink. I'm not too sure at this point. And when I try plugging this in with composite cables, I get no color at all. And there's a little more noise. So S-Video is clear. Just the colors are a little messed up, and I'm not sure right now about how to fix that. I would like to try this on someone else's supergun to see if the RetroTink works better. Maybe it's just a compatibility issue. I'm not sure at this point. Now, these are available on the RetroTink website for about $100 each. However, they are also available on Castlemania Games, and I might recommend heading over to Castlemania Games to take a look at their other things as well. So you can see there is a case that's a little nicer than just the standard plexiglass case that you get. There are power adapters that you can purchase with it. And the cable, for example, I was using one very similar to this. It says here SNES N64 GameCube S-Video cable. So I had one very similar to that I was using. On top of that, at Castlemania Games, they also have the component cables, the legendary component cables that a lot of people are raving about. And just so you know, what you get out of the box with the RetroTink is literally just this. You get the RetroTink, you get the plexi case, but that's it. You don't get a power cable, you don't get any audio video cables. You will have to purchase that separately. So you will need to purchase a mini HDMI to HDMI cable, as well as if you have an old cell phone charger lying around that's micro USB, it'll probably work. But if you don't, you will have to purchase a power adapter as well. And now the question is, do I recommend the RetroTink? I will say there are more expensive options out there that do a little more. This is a very basic and simple product. I would recommend it if you don't have a CRT anymore to use these old systems with, as this does a very, very good job of sending the signal lag-free or very, very low latency to the LCD, plasma, LED, whatever you have, modern TV. Now, it is $100, but in my mind, it's $100 well spent. And especially if you are a Twitch streamer, this is a very easy option to get the signal from your old retro system to your Elgato. The drawbacks is it doesn't really improve. It's not an upscaler per se. You're not going to get full 1080p video out of this. There was one chip on here that I didn't really like, so I put a heatsink on it. You can see right here, the chip got really, really hot. So I just put a tiny heatsink on it to try to help it out. I don't know if it comes with one, and mine just fell off, but anyways, I noticed the chip got really, really hot, and the build quality is also not the greatest, but for the price point, it's pretty darn good. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. If you like my video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think of the RetroTink in the comments below. Do you guys have one already? Have you seen other people with them? Let me know. Anyways, thanks everyone. Take care.